YouTube channel. This week we are going to be making the Salty Days sweater. This sweater is the reason I started knitting, or restarted knitting. I was taught by my nan when I was somewhere around 6 to 8, and from then I've been on and off knitting throughout the years. And then in 2014 I made a super basic knit sweater to say that I did finally manage to make a knitting project. And then I started seeing a project vlog for this sweater in 2015, I believe. 2025. Did I say 2014 for this sweater? I meant 2024 if I did. I started seeing videos for this sweater either late 2024 or early 2025, I believe. And that made me want to get back into knitting. This is the project for me. So we are finally going to be making this sweater. I'm going to be making a size extra small. If you're not new here, I said a couple weeks ago in my Harriet sweater vlog, I believe, that the yarn I was going to use for this is a yarn that pills a lot, as I found out with my heart chain sweater that I also have a video on if you want to go check that out. But the yarn I use for that is a red one. This one, it's the same yarn, just in white. It pills an insane amount. I've had shittier acrylic pill less than this yarn does, but I really want to make this sweater, and I currently don't want to buy more yarn, so we're just gonna use this yarn for now. I am double straining this to get the right gauge, and I will be using 5mm needles, as that is what I reached gauge on, which is recommended. Like I believe I just mentioned, I am making a extra small, which is the smallest size, not surprisingly. And we are going to cast on right now. It's currently like 1 p.m, so it's mid-afternoon right now, so probably not going to get too much done today, but we can at least start. My mannequin's not where it usually is in this background because it's beside me. I need to move it back. I had it over here because I was redesigning the sweater that I made to wear on my birthday. Currently redesigning that because there's a hole in the front and it's not something I can fix. So that's being redesigned currently, in case you're wondering where that was, which I doubt, but just in case. Let's get started. late last night, but I have now done the front panel, or joined for the front panel. I'm about to do, I assume, the diamond section for the front. So back panel is done. And then about to do that for the front. I've just come from a walk, so I'm a little out of breath still, but that's what we are now going to do. I'm probably not going to get too much work on this today. I usually take this with me tonight. I usually take a project with me tonight, but this is probably a little too complicated to take with me to places. So probably not going to work on it as a travel project. But that's fine. I have a scarf project that I've been slowly working on for the past few months. That probably needs to get more progress. So it's fine. That can just be the project instead. Realized I messed up on chart B, which is like a cable section. I did one side of the cables wrong. I don't know how to explain it, but if you know the pattern, I moved over 3 stitches in front instead of 2. Let me see if I can hold it in a way that shows. Here, these ones are the right ones, as you can see. That's how it's supposed to look, and that's the one side is 3 instead of 2. I fixed the front ones. I'm just leaving the back ones because I don't want to do it anymore. I fixed 5 of them and they took like 11 minutes each to fix. So I'm just not fixing the back ones. It's the back. I don't care that much. I cared enough to fix the front, and the front is fixed. That was my thumb cracking because I do that by accident. Front is fixed. That's as much as I care to do. The back, not my problem. It's not a stitch count issue, so it's not my issue. I don't care. I spent like nearly an hour fixing the front ones. I'm done. Just thought I'd put it in here. Just thought I'd say it so that, do you understand? So that you see it's a mistake. I'm acknowledging it and I'm moving on. I'm done. It's now 2 days later since the last update. I didn't get any work done yesterday as we were busy, and I've not started yet today. It's 1:10. I woke up really late and then I was lazy. So finally getting some work in, I guess, today. I'm currently on chart C of the pattern. Literally just started it. I think I'm on like row 3. Trying to figure out where I am. I have no idea. I think it's row 3. Yes, it's row 3. So glad I decided to leave myself there. That's great. Anyway, that's where we're up to. Just thought I'd update that I've been incredibly lazy for the past few days. The past couple days. One or the other. That's the update. Just realised I haven't updated in a bit. I'm currently sewing down the collar. I finished the body, which I didn't love doing. I didn't love doing twisted rib on my fixed circulars because you have to do it in 3mm. The only 3mm I have in a size that works, in a cable that works for the body, is a pair of like really long tipped needles, and my hands hate those so much. So that sucked. But the collar was a lot better because my needles for that were a lot shorter. Once again, also a fixed circular 3mm, because I still haven't ordered tips for the interchangeable set, because I don't want to deal with delivery fees just yet. So whatever, my problem, I guess. But this has been my first time doing twisted rib, and it's fine. Like, it's just like doing normal ribbing, really. Just your needle goes into the opposite bar that you usually go in for knitting. This is my first time doing a sewed down folded collar. So I have no idea if I'm doing it right. I'm sort of just going on hopes and prayers here, because I also don't know if I picked up the right number of stitches for the collar. I didn't want to count. I didn't want to try and count for the different sections, and then I just forgot to recount. I forgot to count after I had picked them all up, so I'm just hoping it's at least enough to not be tight, because I haven't tried it on yet with the collar. I have tried this on before I put the collar on. It looks like a weird shape, like this, because it just seems weirdly long rather than wide. It does fit, it just looks weird, not on a body. So, interesting construction with fucking. I don't like sewing. This is bad. I have no idea what stitch I'm using to sew this down, so I'm not even gonna try and tell you, because I don't know. But yeah, just thought I'd give an update since I haven't. I believe this is day 5 of working on this sweater. Either 5 or 6. I don't think it's 2. It's definitely not 7, because it hasn't been a week, I don't think. So 5 or 6. I think most likely 5. I'm unsure exactly, but that seems stretchy enough, isn't it? This back part is what's sewed down. If it's stretchy, it's fine, right? Knowing my luck with collars, I wouldn't put it past me to be wrong. What the fuck is my hair doing? Right, that day, that kind of day. I'm trying to distract myself from how annoyingly boring this is. Yeah, that's the update, I guess. Okay, couple things. It's now the next day. What one do I want to talk about first? With the sleeves, you need to do one of these diamond cables right at the ends. But as I suspected, if I do that diamond cable, that section, it's not a cable. If I do that diamond section and the ribbing, it will be too long for me. So I don't know what to do. Like this, hold on. This is all the rib section, and it gets me down to here. This is the first divider section for this. I would need to do one of these, another divider, and the ribbing. This section alone is like 5 centimeters without the other divider, and that would put me where this top ends. I know you can't see the numbers, but where the black top ends is where 5 centimeters is, and that's without the second divider. The ribbing is another 7.5 centimeters after that. Or for me, I think it was 7. So it would work, wouldn't it? Like this, but when my arm's down, it doesn't. I don't know. This is merino, so it's going to grow. Not still without the extra divider section. The sleeves are going to be too long if I do the chart in between. Would it be stupid if I just do some roses stuck in it instead? I mean, it's the sleeve, it's not really a problem. The other thing I was going to say is I can't be fucking asked to use my DPNs for the cuffs I am sick of using the DPNs. I'm not using them. I will be using my 3.5mm interchangeables because I'm not using my DPNs again so soon. I'm sick of them. Not happening. Nope. I genuinely do not care. If it's slightly lesser than this, that's fine. This is already quite a small circumference. Like around here, it's already quite small. Deep 3.5s is maybe just gonna add like 3.5s is going to make it not be super cinched. So I don't care about the 3mm. I'm not using DPNs. No. I'm doing a few rows of stockinette and then another border, and then I'm doing the cuffs. It's decided. I'm not using the DPNs. I'm not having an extra long sleeve when it's already going to grow. No. I don't care. Also, this sleeve makes it so much further. Like, the weight of the sleeves pulls this so far. Like, I can genuinely feel it tugging the collar that way. Because it's like, that is where my shoulder is. And then that's there with the sleeve. That's, ow, that's my wrist. That's quite a lot of stretch that the sleeve is putting on this. So, just in case you were wondering how much this rib section stretches when you add the sleeves on, quite a lot. I think like 5 centimeters probably, just from the sleeves going on. So, that's great. That's my thumb. Ow. That's my other one. I need to stop cracking my thumbs as a habit. That is horrible. That's choices are made. Few round stockinette border cuffs in 3.5s instead of 3s because I'm not using DPNs. Sorted. Update. Done. This has not been blocked yet. I do want to say that. I do not have time to wait for this to block for this video. So I'll give an update in one of my future videos when it is blocked. But Judging by the fact that my heart chain sweater didn't seem to grow when I blocked it, it did. It just didn't seem like it did. I don't think this is gonna change too much either. Which I'm fine with. I like the fit, so nothing wrong with that. I don't love how tight the sleeves are. You can already see it pilling. I don't love how tight this part of the sleeves are, but it does mean that I can wear other sweaters over it without too much fabric being in the way for the sleeves. So I guess it's fine. I guess. I did end up using 3.5s for the cuffs. They may be slightly longer than the pattern, but I did just do the 22 rows. So I do like how the cuffs are, though. They are quite fitted, as is with the 3.5s. So I think that was a good choice to not go with the 3s for that, because then they might have been a little bit too fitting, because they are tight on my hands when getting them in through the sleeves. So the 3.5s was probably the best bet. I really like how the twisted rib looks as the collar. In a collar, I guess. This is maybe my favorite color that I've done. So I really like that. This used 664 grams of yarn. I still have these plus 2 full ones still in there, which I may end up using for a pair of gloves with the green Morrison Sons yarn that I still have left over. I'm going to use the white with the grey for a Harriet sweater, another Harriet sweater. I think I've talked about it. I don't know if I did. I'm making a grey Harriet sweater, even though that's not technically enough yarn for the pattern. I'm just going to rework it and try my best to use it up, because I don't know what else to use it for. But 664 grams of yarn, and this took 39 hours and 6 minutes. So a little bit faster than some of my other cabled. This is like nearly 2 hours less than the Harriet sweater. So that's pretty good. I'm just seeing if I can find my other cabled sweater patterns to see. I say cable, I think I mean textured. The heart chain sweater took me 43, so that's like 4 hours less. So I would say it works up pretty quickly compared to some other textured sweaters, which is great. It's probably the 5mm that do that. My grey sweater that I freehanded took me 39 hours and 10 minutes, so this was 4 minutes less, shockingly. So pretty good, I would say. Yeah. I did end up doing the 9 rows for the, instead of chart C for the sleeves, as I think doing the full chart would have made it too long. This is where I prefer my sleeves to sit. So adding those 3 extra rows probably would have moved it up. I know, 3 rows. I couldn't be bothered doing 3 rows, I know. But I feel like that would have moved it up into here. And I don't like where that sits. Where that would sit. So I don't mind the plain stockinette. I think it's a nice, simple detail compared to the all over detail. That was 9 rows. If I do this pattern again, which considering how much this yarn pills, I probably will. If I do that again, I'm probably just going to add, I'm going to, including this, the rows for these divider sections, this would be 16 rows. So if I make this again, I'll probably just do 16 more rows in the rib, like this section, just because it would be easier, probably quicker as well. Why not? If I do it again, then it would be a slight difference while also still being the same. So I'm gonna talk about the fit again. I don't plan these things. I think you can tell that I don't plan what I'm gonna say. I just say it as I think it. The sweater is a weird length longwise. Yeah, longwise, that's all I can think of to figure out. I don't know whether it's just my body proportions that make it look weird, or if it's the sweater itself. It's probably my body proportions because I am short. It just looks weirdly long, especially when you're like holding it up, not on a person. It could also just be that it's not blocked. I really don't know. It just looks weirdly long. I would show you, but I don't want to. I can't be bothered. So, yeah, it's just weirdly long, I guess. I guess you could fix that by taking off some of these rib rows, which it does suggest in the pattern. I just follow the pattern to follow the pattern because it's easier. But it is the length that section is supposed to be. So I think it's just weirdly long. But other than that, the pattern is really well written. At least for what I prefer in patterns. The formatting is super easy to follow. When I originally saw vlogs of this sweater being made, the chart for row C, this diamond section but in the round at the bottom, was wrong for the very last row. I don't know if it was fixed or what, but hold on, I'm trying to see my right screen. I don't know if it was fixed or they just did something wrong, but didn't have a problem with it. So I don't, like, you saw in the reveal, mine, hold on, I'll just stand up, make it easier. Mine are perfectly fine. They're aligned, nothing's out of place. So I don't know if it's been updated since those videos originally came out, or they just did some. They were probably much more advanced knitters than I am, so I don't want to blame them for it. But I'm guessing it's probably just been updated since then. I'm trying to see through the comments if I can find. No. I think it's probably just been updated since then because I'm not seeing anything. Anyway, we are done. That is everything I can think of to talk about. This has been going for 12 minutes. I am ending this here. Thanks for watching. Bye.